Hey guys, welcome back to some more AFK Arena. Today we're back over on the pay to win account, and I want to talk about the question that Christopher was asking. When it comes to those two collections, honestly, my first thought would be Mishka would be the best with the bigger defense collection. I know the big tenacity in there for Begress, but I feel like Misha is much higher on the tier list that we're seeing right now than Begress. Now, one thing that I want to break down, because I understand, and I never really paid much attention to what exactly the perk card does within the Ghoulish gallery, and honestly, just how broken it is. I just picked up the perk card, and I want to show you because we bought this before, but looking at the ability to stack these cards, this is pretty interesting to see because of the expiration buffs and being able to essentially use your tomes in here to get additional things. Season perks are activated. So when you look in here and thinking of level 4 and level 5, you can see right here, when quest progression reaches 9 and expiration buffs, you get an additional defense scroll, you get an additional attack scroll, and then when you hit 36, you get an additional custom attack scroll. So if you're building this up, if you are pay to win, if you're in here and looking to build collections, that is incredibly broken. But the big part, like what Chris was saying, is right here. When etching, and again, I really, truly didn't realize this, when etching, you can use an additional custom ability scroll, meaning that if we have a couple of our scrolls in here, which I have none right there, here we have none, and then 36, we have one of these, we'll be able to use 2 of them together. That is going to make it a lot easier to build the collections and really getting to the point of having these big whale collections, because like you were saying, if I could use 2 defensive collections in there, that would really make a big difference, because I'd only need to get 1 defensive, adding 2 more, possibly 3 more in there, depending if I use Miracle Worker or not. But being able to essentially build this up much, much faster. I'm going to have to focus on this. I'm going to have to focus and I'm going to have to build this out. Again, I really didn't pay much attention in there. Now, in addition to that, it is giving you the ability to get arcane staffs, and you do get another attempt down here to get one of the cards you're looking for. So we'll do the draws in here and see, boom, there we go. There is a Miracle Worker right off of the bat. Now, remember, like I said, we do have the ability to get 2 of these. So there is a level. So we picked up a level, we picked up a Miracle Worker, we picked up 20 of our recasting elixir, and we also have 1, almost 2 more that are here. This, again, if you are pay to win, if you are putting money into AFK Arena, this would really make a big difference on how fast you can build up and really build these collections in the entirety. Getting those custom scrolls, getting a lot more draws with your arcane staffs would really exemplify the building in here. That is kind of crazy. Perfect collection, doable with the perk card. Yeah, Finn, and I was kind of looking, that's kind of interesting to see. And again, I really didn't pay attention to the perks. I bought the perks when they came out, and as you can see, we're at perk level 3. We picked it up a couple times, but we have been very, very inconsistent with it. Even looking at display, I still have a lot of free staffs in here. If I continue going through and actually building out collections, which I need to, because it has made a big difference in the Cursed Realm and the Nightmare Corridor, as well as the Treasure Scramble, building them out and having higher level collections and even unlocking additional level collections, again, is really huge. I know it's something that I neglected and a lot of players do, but I built out all of these collections. As you can see, we did recast a couple of them to get the erosion in the buffer, but that way we are unlocking multiple, or essentially this 3rd slot. I want to get to the point of unlocking this 4th slot as well for these collections in the entirety, which is going to be good. What's going on, Raphael? Thanks for joining us for the stream. And it looks like Korean Regar is out there, Soul is out there, Aziz, Ghoulish, Chris as well. Thank you guys for joining me. What do you think of Valfura? Is she worth SI 40? So with Valfura, she is a hero that requires a big, and I always get these 2 mixed up, but she requires a big build. So looking at the magic piers here, and I know your erosion collection is so bad, if only 1 or 2, I'm not sure, and you can recast it. What do you mean, Finn? The erosion collection is bad, but what do I think about Valfura? So the big thing with this hero is the magical pierce. That is the big thing when you look at her abilities within here for the magical pierce. Magical pierce is at 60 or 16. I believe they said they want, if you have the resources, I would SI 50 Valfura. Yeah, so Magical Pierce, they have said you want like correct me if I'm wrong, Finn, like 40 to 60 points of Magical Pierce. And that is at the point where this hero becomes incredibly broken, is having a very high Magical Pierce on here. And as you can see, we have no Magical Pierce in the collection. But when you start looking at it, again, they have said, and I don't think I have a really good collection to even put on here. But looking at the collection, is Magical Pierce on here is what really makes this hero specifically completely broken in a lot of different game modes. So if we're buffing up the Magical Pierce, even here it's adding what, 9? I need a lot better than that. Enemy 150% of enemy MP, for example, in AoE, doing 100 damage. Yeah, and again, that's kind of what I've heard is with her is stacking and stacking a lot of Magical Pierce in here will really make this hero broken. Because remember, the Magical Pierce is increasing the damage, and I believe she, like you were kind of saying there on the boss, doing 150% more of the enemy's MP with the SI, you can really amplify the damage, and that's where we are seeing her being one of those support heroes that are amplifying the damage. And I actually I need to build out some more of this furniture in the entirety. Max build, she doesn't allow the enemy to ult, shield, or do magic damage CC. There you go. So just like what Finn said, and I know she was a very, very expensive hero to build. And I know, again, doing the summons very similar to like Scion, very similar to a couple other ones. Very, very expensive to build the hero in the entirety. But she does, and again, she's another one that requires a very high build to be effective in a lot of different game modes. And kind of like we've seen with like Lucretia, and some of the older heroes, where the higher you build the hero, the better the hero is going to perform. If you do not have the hero built, she doesn't really do much from my understanding as far as the build itself, because I did just get this on there with, again, adding another 1% to Magical Pierce. Do have to build her up a little bit, and it looks like on Nightmare Corridor, she can replace the Awakened version of Sophia. There you go. And I know we do have the Awakened version of Sophia built up quite a bit as well. But again, this is a hero not quite built up to that plus 40 signature item, but does work incredibly well in a couple different places. Yeah, so is she worth the plus 40? Yes, absolutely. Like Finn said, would you go to a 50? Me personally, and I know Finn does put a lot of money into AFK Arena. Me personally, for Valfura, I would not take her to a 50, just the sheer cost of it. It is kind of insane on how many heroes I can get to 40s versus building her up to 50. But again, if you're really looking to min-max in a lot of different game modes, if you're running this hero, a 50 might make sense from a whale sense. For me, being a baby dolphin that spent $100 in AFK Arena this month, it's kind of crazy. What's going on, Lucas? I only have 16 LBs left to build out for stars, 17 maulers, 15 wilders. You're almost done, Raphael. You are getting there. So one thing we want to talk about. So I want to hop over because we were talking about it in the Dragon Isle. So I reached out to Lilith when it comes to building this out, and it kind of works how I thought. So when you look at building Draconic heroes and when you look at Wishlist, I know we have talked about this in a video, and I wanted to get the clarification, is the way that the Wishlist is designed for the percentages or the probability is, you can see right here, the probability for getting an elite hero is 4.61%. When you look at the Wishlist, there are 5 slots available in here. So what it does is when you do a roll, and again, this is kind of how it was explained to me from Lilith, from the source, from AFK Arena, is when you do a roll. So when we do a summon, if I go ahead, I use one of my summon scrolls, it is going to randomly choose one of these slots if an elite hero is brought. So with that, when I roll, and again, if I pulled an elite hero, it is going to randomize 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Each of these are going to be broken into 20%, because the question was, should we leave the wish list full in the entirety? Doesn't make a difference if we leave these empty gaps, because when we close this out, it says the elite tier, they still have these empty. Lilith has confirmed the answer to that is no. When you roll, if I pull an elite hero, it is going to be 20%, 20%, 20, 20, 20 to give the 100% chance on the elite hero that I pulled. Now, it is going to randomly draw kind of 1 through 5, slot 1, slot 2, slot 3, slot 4, slot 5. if, let's say, for instance, again, in that scenario, we pull the elite hero and the slot that it pulls is 3. So if we pull slot number 3 right here, it is going to randomly give me one of these heroes that can be essentially put into the wish list. It is going to randomize from there depending on what heroes I have in there. And that's why, again, it doesn't make a difference. And I wanted to confirm it with Lilith that it does not make a difference if this is half empty or if it is entirely full, because it is going to make a roll when it comes to building it at a 20% chance on each slot. With that, if it is slot 3, 4, or 5, it is going to pull from the entire pool of available heroes within AFK Arena within the game mode that you're doing the summons. They also should let you exchange 3 to 1 direct. Yeah, I would love that. Absolutely, Finn. If we could swap some of those out. I still have lots of Awakened Heroes and Celestial Hypos to build. Generally, like to build in faction order. Yeah, it works out, Raphael. And honestly, guys, you focus on one Awakened at a time, really one Celestial or Hypo at a time. That's using your Time Emblems, that's using your Stargazer Scrolls. But yeah, you kind of just build them one by one. Regular 4 faction is the exact same. So when you look at the Noble Tavern and being able to do the summons in there, it is going to do the exact same thing. And again, this is per Lilith that we have talked about. So looking at the Noble Tavern and going into the actual summon. So when we pull an elite hero in here, of course, it's going to choose 1, which faction is it in? And then 2, which slot within that faction is going to be chosen. For instance, if we had 5 light bearers here and I had, Alvida in slot number 1, if I rolled or if I pulled an elite hero, it would choose which faction it is, and then it chooses what selection or what position that hero is coming from. So if I pulled the first one, it would give Alita, again, a 20% chance on each one of these. If I didn't have anyone in here like I do not, it will 100% randomize every single hero that is available to go into this wish list, which means that leaving these 2 heroes that I do not have at 5 stars in the wish list by themselves, it is the exact same probability as filling up the wish list in the entirety. Now, with that being said, the only caveat to that is if you're looking to build food, because again, if you specifically want heroes, we could go in here and we could fill this full of legendary heroes, just looking to pull and get more copies of legendary heroes versus pulling all of these random heroes, because I'll show you exactly what's happening right now. And I'm sure anyone who has a majority of these faction heroes built, what is going on right now is a majority of the slots are filled by regular heroes and not by heroes that I can do anything with unless I have a multitude of copies of these regular heroes. So again, I'll hop over and show you exactly what I'm referring to. So if I put all the rare heroes in here, the rare heroes, I can use some of the elite heroes for food built out in the entirety. So what's happening is when we go to the Temple of Ascension and you look at how many heroes I have, we have a ton of all of these different factions. Like even here, I mean, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 full rows of elite or elite plus heroes. I could take them like Sophia and just use 2 random copies of another hero and go ahead and ascend these and then use my copy of Sophia for food. Or I could go in there and I could summon the elite ones like I was just showing that I put into the wish list, depending on what you want to use, because now with that 1 single elite plus copy of Sophia, that's what we can use for food. But essentially we're recycling them. So we're going over into the rickety cart, and all of these factions, we are recycling heroes. Now, the thing is, as you see right here, is I can recycle any of my legendary heroes. I cannot recycle the elite heroes. That is where it gets kind of dicey, because just like we built that copy of Sophia, the only thing I'm ever going to be able to use that copy that I built of Sophia right here is food, or using some of these to build her up a little bit further. No reason to have 2 copies of Sophia because we already do have them. But I can also use that hero as fodder when I'm building up another hero. But like I said, if I'm pulling the elite ones out, I can actually recycle them. Now, for a newer player, this is going to make a game-changing difference, because what I traditionally do is I will keep 2 copies of each hero. So we will keep 2 legendary plus copies. of each hero within here. So there we go. We got a couple legendary plus. We'll go ahead. We'll recycle those. This keeps me from getting over and really filling up every single slot. But like I said, for a newer player to AFK Arena, this is going to yield me 172,000 hero coins. So think about it for a minute. If you're looking in here with 172,000 coins, if I need anyone out of the garrison, I can get them. But the other big thing is the store, where if you need to build up the Elder Tree, this is going to be a very, very easy place to build up the Elder Tree when you start maxing out those heroes in the entirety. And that's the reason why when we even look at the Elder Tree itself, I have 80,000 Twisted Essence because my Elder Tree is built out in the entirety. And we're really capped now for the heroes that we're summoning. And we're also capped for the Elder Tree. Again, there's no reason at the point in my account to build them up at all or really leave some of these empty. It doesn't make sense to leave them all empty to just get a bunch of elite heroes again versus getting some of the food that I can just kind of recycle in there in the entirety. The only useless hero you should build is Hildwyn and Eugene for potential swap. Yeah, we built those out. Now, that was a reason. Now, most players have said when it comes to the store itself is they have built out, and I know a lot of players that have swapped for Eugene. Now, we've seen a lot of swaps for Eugene. We've seen a lot of swaps here for Hildwyn. And those are important because very similar to what we see with like a Wukong and a Flora, being able to swap those when you have the ability to swap them is really a big game changer. When you can swap for a best in slot hero that you don't have versus someone that you do, it really makes a big difference. I'd rather swap Entendre for Eugene. It depends who you have built, honestly. It really does, because there's a lot of heroes in AFK Arena that we build. Even my Entendre, I would love to swap Entendre just for the fact I really don't use her for anything at all. Oh, and I forgot, guys, you didn't remind me. I am disappointed with the stream. I wanted to hop in here and just start auto running some of these when we go through all of the content, when we go through all of this. We forgot about it to go ahead and set this up. So I'm just going to grab a recommended formation and I'm going to let these run in the background. If we farm through a level, 1 level, 2 levels, 5 levels, whatever, but we can go through everything else and I'll just let that run in the background. I tried to remember, I just thought about it literally right now, that we could go through and we could just continue farming in the entirety, which we will just kind of let that run. Does seem to slow it down a little bit on here, but that's okay. So it looks like, guys, we are still, and we have 26 votes in the entirety. All right, you got to bring me the streaming luck, because honestly, we gotta, if we're looking for Begress, this is so disappointing, guys. You don't even understand. So when we built up Begress, when we were looking to get him, and we got, of course, all the extra copies out of here, since that point, we have done, and it was just north of 315 copies to get or I think 1 copy, maybe 1 copy of Begress in 300 plus summons. Do we only need 1 more? I think we need, no, we don't have any Begress. We have done. So we are 320 summons in, and we have seen 0 additional copies of Begress, which is kind of crazy. Yeah, minus 10K, yeah. Free 5,000 for Begress. Tomorrow, free 5K. Oh, yeah, aren't they doing the pack? Are they doing the pack, Finn? Because and again, I don't know if I don't know if that's what you're referring to, Finn. Or are you talking about the, you know what? Let's do it. I was just thinking about the 5,000. I think you're talking about Fun in the Sun. Yeah, that Rowan ship. You know what? I think we have a card on here. We got, no, we don't. We don't have any. Oh, $5. Is it it's gonna be above tax? I don't know if this is gonna let me do it. See, we can't. Oh, I'm gonna buy these two. I am absolutely, I didn't even think about it. Buying the duck is bad. I need the diamonds. I need the diamonds, Finn. If we're gonna have an ability, if we're gonna have an opportunity to actually build out Begress, and I'm also thinking diamond wise, where if we do want to build out the new Graveborn hero right here, I'm gonna need diamonds for both. For the Golden Frontier. Yeah, the Golden Frontier, that's a whole nother questionable part with how that works. And I'm a little disappointed with how much the Golden Frontier can just be kind of bought. It's kind of silly. What do you think of my main squad for Curse Round? Nox, Randall, Awaken or Aethys, Highborn, Gwen, and Liberta. It's pretty good. I mean, that's the main squad. That's kind of odd because Nox goes together with a Slumbering Seal and a couple other ones. But again, I know, Raphael, if you don't have, and there we go, highest level of the stage, this is what I wanted to focus on. If you don't have a lot of really high built heroes, or again, if you don't have Gwen at this point, yes, has been replaced by a lot of different heroes, but you also have to remember, it is going to be very, very, very dependent on what you have, Raphael. That is the big thing, where when you look at your damage dealers, when you start looking at, a lot of different game modes, it is going to be super dependent on who you have. And yeah, pick up one Matria for Treasure Scramble, throw Nox in there, do the Slumbering Seal, possibly pick up like a copy of a couple of those really hard heroes to kill. Some of those that have the revive and everything else. I think in here, campaign, boom, look at this, 400 elemental cores. That brings me closer. All right, guys, let's hop back in for Begress. SI 30, Trishia underrated for Treasure Scramble, or you mean the E30? Yeah, you only need Trishia, Shiken, Treasure Scramble, Curse Room. Yeah, a lot of people with Trishia, I know Finn, have very, very, very underrated Trishia. And I get questions literally every single time that I do a tier list that talks about why is Trishia a good hero and why is Trishia important in a lot of different game modes. That is something that I've seen literally since the hero has come out. Let's see, guys, incoming. They're saying another 10,000 diamonds that we're going to be throwing down the hole. Looking at Begress, and unfortunately, we didn't get any. So we got 2 full summons in here. Maybe we can pull 1 copy. Can it happen? Or maybe a Highborn Draconic Hero. That would be awesome to see. Number 1. And number 2, it is a single copy. It is. Oh, Cassius, not a Begress like we were kind of looking for. Oh, unfortunately. Yeah, Dragon Heart Temple. We're at 203 cards. We are waiting to see, and I don't know, Finn, if you've seen anything or heard anything about the next hero being a Highborn Draconic hero. That we are kind of waiting to see exactly what's going to be coming down, and if we do see anything or what that's going to look like for a Highborn Draconic hero. Here's the World Tree. Look at this. 6,000 Pokecoins. Let's do some Pokecoin summons in here, guys. And look at that, a new subscriber, guys. We are over 41,200. I think we're north of that. Thank you for subbing to the channel. Very awesome to see, guys. I know there are many better formations, but not all players. Yeah, and that's it, Raphael. Like we were kind of talking about, when you start looking at even like, I kind of relate it to my free-to-play account where I don't have so many heroes. There are so many heroes that I'm missing within formations. It's kind of crazy. I'm tired of holding Highborn cards. It's so depressing. I wish everyone had that issue with holding those cards in here. Now, I did finish out Sun Jin Woo. So we got the 9 of 9 furniture for Sun Jin Woo. We popped in another hero in here. Begress, we're still building Celine. We have a couple more there. And of course, a couple more on here with that awakened version of Falks. Let's see what these. Now, again, we tested out the new Graveborn hero. I feel like she might be a miss, which I would 100% absolutely love. I worry that she's going to fall in kind of a niche formation. But personally, I would love to see or love to be able to skip the ability to build the Graveborn hero just because of the resources and resource acquisition that we currently have. I would love to be able to just skip the new hero. But again, I feel like there are going to be 1 or 2 formations that she's going to come in kind of as a niche best in slot or a kind of a damage amplification hero that we see. I feel like we are going to see her used everywhere. You only have issues with pet resonance, not 18 yet. Yeah, 18 is a big one, guys. We have talked about since really the beast resonance have come out about the importance of getting the beast up to 18 I prioritize, and on the free-to-play account, if you guys have been following it, we have been prioritizing getting the Slumbering Seal up to 18 and getting the rest of the Beast Resonance really built out. It is very, very important. Now, in here, my focus is going to be, like we said before, with our red cards, way one right here on the table. This is going to be for that awakened version of Falks. Now, remember, the 9 of 9 for version, because he is an awakened hero, we are missing that part of his skill set. So getting the awakened heroes to a 30960 honestly is your number one priority when you do get them, up to this point, because if you do not, they're missing a big chunk of their skill set. And like I said, right now, that what we're seeing with that awakened version of Falks is we are missing the part of his skills right here. Magic Pierce will increase the damage and health loss of affected enemy heroes take. That is huge because we don't have the furniture. That's why, again, I prioritize when it comes to the awakened heroes, getting them to 30960, just for the fact of the skills and abilities that they're missing without having the furniture. Need to be better at holding red cards. I can't, Finn. We are so, I would never do anything with them. They would literally sit there, Finn, and I would never want to spend them, because when I think right now, if we have 9 red cards on the table at all times, that means I have 9 other heroes that are missing furniture. And right now I have a bunch of heroes that are missing furniture. I only use those red cards for really the awakened heroes or the highborn draconic heroes, just for the simple fact they're the only ones that I can't build out and can't build out very fast. The regular heroes, we've been just kind of holding off with them and saving them. And a lot of them have just come naturally. So through the natural course of summons, we've been using them in the entirety. Unnecessary and complaining about pull coins. I never had any pull coins. If I don't have pull coins, I can't get red cards. And I don't get red cards from a lot of different game modes. I usually only get one, which is pretty sad because, again, we don't get a ton of those. So right here, this is just more fodder, more food. We have 4 more stones. Boom, nothing again, no awakened heroes at all. How can I increase survivability for campaign formations? It's going to be 1 or 2 things for survivability. Either you're going to have more crowd control. It's going to be either the crowd control aspect, or you're going to have more support. More of the tanks. So when you think about survivability, I mean, a couple tanks like Alvida does incredibly well at tanking. Looking at, like a Aethys in here does incredibly well with tanking. It's going to be really about the crowd control within there if you want the survivability in the campaign formations. Some of it does come with kind of some of the RNG, but really the survivability comes with the crowd control. As you start getting into higher level deficiencies, the crowd control really does make a big difference in them not being able to completely run you over. Do I trade the 400 million gold versus Food for Beasts in early game, or is it useless? It's a good value, yeah. And I really feel, again, guys, when you look at the Beast Ground and when you look at doing the exchange in here for the baits, getting to 18 is a priority. It is really it is a big priority. I feel like getting these beasts up to resident level 18 is honestly, it's a game changer because we have so many game modes. You have so many beasts that are used in so many different places. Really prioritizing, really building them up, getting them to 18, doing the Beast Resonance 18 will make a difference for every single game mode. When you start looking Cursed Realm, when you look at Nightmare Corridor, Treasure Scramble, Campaign Formations, Temple Rift, any game mode you're running, having the higher level beasts will make a big difference across the board. And it really does. It really does make a big difference. Awaken Almas as a Graveborn. Yeah, that would have been pretty epic, Joe. I agree with you on that one. That would have been kind of crazy. And I don't know if they're going to do a Wilder. I would really love, I don't think I get 400 million per week. You don't. Korean, I am way, way below on my free-to-play account. You don't get anywhere near that 400 million on a regular basis. I do not either. So here we are, guys, 10 floors in. This is going to be a lot more cards. This is also going to be a lot more levels. Now, of course, when it comes to going through the tower, for me, it's very easy. I am really over leveled in here. And because I've been playing AFK Arena on this account for 6 years, um, I have all of the old school heroes built. Not only the 5 stars, most of them have, you know, the plus 20 signature items, the plus 30 signature items. A lot of them, I mean, even when you look at like Saurus, when you look at Mishka, when you look at Iran, a lot of them are built up in the entirety, plus 20, plus 30 signature items. Makes a big difference. You need a lot of bait for the awakened pet. Yeah. Now, what do you think, Finn, about players that are saving all of their leaves? And again, a lot of players, and kind of what I've heard is the recommendation from some sources about the Beast Crown is saving all of your wishing leaves for the next awakened pet that is coming. Because remember, this is going to change based on the most current one. So the latest Fabled Beast will have this perk, which means if we do get the next one, if I do not save any of my leaves to build the next Awakened Beast that we get within AFK Arena out, I'm going to lose all of these Golden Frontier perks. Let me know what you think, Finn. I don't know what I prioritize in the game. It's my 10-day. Really right now, prioritize building heroes. If you are 10 days into AFK Arena, Korean, absolutely focus, and really you want to build out 2 big heroes. Those are going to be your big focuses, which is Ivan and Randy. So when and if you're 10 days in, building out Randy, building out Ivan are going to be the big part. You're also going to focus a lot into the Noble Tavern. Doing regular summons in the Noble Tavern will really make a big difference, because you want to be able to, once you get to the point of unlocking faction towers, being able to climb those towers as fast as possible, because they do offer a lot of resource generation, which you're looking for right now. I know I could have finished chapter 44 ages ago, but I'd rather focus on levels. Yeah, Raphael, you could. And I think, do you get resources out of there? And again, I would really focus, if you're not getting everything in its entirety out of the Misty Valley. I still have the legendary epics that I have to finish. But if you're not getting all of your resources out of here, Raphael, this is another one where campaign progression, you want to focus. And I think I finished all these. Yeah, I was kind of running them when I was actually at volleyball practice. But looking in here, you want to make sure that you finish all of these out in the entirety. And I'm not sure exactly what chapter this goes up to now. But yeah, you 100% want to make sure that you're building these and you have those finished out in the entirety. Any place that you are leaving resources on the table is going to be detrimental for progression. Pegasus Beast is just like the Aziz Awakened Beast. Stronger ones will be released later. And Gory, that's what a lot of players are saying. That is kind of the question. And that is, again, what so many players have been saying, is going in there and saving the information. Is an active guild really important? Yes. So the reason being, if you don't have an active guild, you're not going to have the ability to claim all of the rewards in the guild hunt. So again, if you don't have an active guild and you're not opening the tier 10 chest within the guild hunt, you want to make sure that your guild has enough active members that you're opening the tier 10 chest. Because again, just like we said, guys, you don't want to be leaving resources on the table any place in AFK Arena. You really want to go and you really want to focus on that active guild, making sure that you know where you're playing, and all of the players are kind of making sure, again, that they're active in the guild, that you're getting the chests, that you're maximizing and getting that level 10 out of there. Spam guild applying to guild that have someone that have, yeah, the top 200 Nightmare Corridor. There you go. That's a good way to do it. Most people will not accept new players in the guild. Honestly, I would keep going through it. Who does Nox synergize well? So Nox is one that synergizes super well with the Slumbering Seal. So we still see him in a lot of different game modes, being run with the Slumbering Seal, even looking at tower formations. But Nox is usually in a couple different formations. And I don't believe as much in the Cursed Realm or the Nightmare Corridor anymore. I think it's a lot more in the Treasure Scramble that we are seeing Nox more ranked 99th. Oh, I don't want it to stop my battle. I want it to keep going. Yeah, it really does work well in a couple different places. And I'm almost wondering if they're running Nox. Now, I've also seen Nox ran with the Awakened Beast instead of the Slumbering Seal. I don't know if that's something that a lot of other players have kind of seen, but I have caught a couple formations. Look, Thorin Cheese, of course, right off the bat. Then we look at Iran, and there we go. There's Iran, there's Aurelia, there's Nox sitting right in this formation. Again, built up pretty high. This is going to make a really big difference with crowd control. And right there is Ivan again being run. There's Randy being run again. As much as the heroes do fall off, and again, back to kind of Finn's point, a lot of heroes within AFK Arena, and there's Soul. What's up, Soul? I know he's in chat. But a lot of heroes will fall off to a certain point. But like I had said many times before, guys, it does make a really big difference on who you have built out and what heroes you have built out or what heroes you do not have built out at all. Because it's really tough when you don't have a lot of heroes built out. Like how many floors did the King's Tower have and Faction Towers cap at? Yeah, that's you, Soul. Yeah, I seen you on there. I believe right now the King's Tower itself is like 2950. I don't remember right off the top of my head, but I believe the King's Tower is like 2950. The two, the Celestial and the Hypos are 1140. This is actually the cap. But I think for these, it's like 1650, 1700 with all of the regular faction towers. If anyone knows off chance, definitely let me know. But yeah, 1140 right now. And also with this is, Raphael, is they update this every single patch that we see. Usually they'll add another 20 floors to these towers in their entirety. But again, I believe the King's Tower, and I might be completely wrong on this, but I believe the King's Tower was 2950 was the cap. And then the faction towers were like 1650, maybe 1700. But it's kind of crazy. As Awakened Athalia been Shadow Nerve, Mind is maxed out, but she doesn't do any damage. Maybe the release of Envy has decreased her value. Maybe like Rem, Athalia. No, not really. So if you go through here and you look at some of these game modes, Gory, there's a couple places where she's still being used. And again, it does make a big difference how you ever built out, which you said you ever maxed. But there were a few places that she was still being used. There's Zora, there's Scion. Even right there, guys, there is the Awakened version of Falks and Celine. That is a formation, unfortunately, I do not have. But where did I see her? Maybe it was in here. I thought I had literally just seen a team with Athalia in the team. There's Marcille. Right there. There's the Awakened version of Athalia. So again, there are going to be teams where even this formation, she's getting a lot of buffs here. So you got Begress as a buffer, you have Hodgkin that is a buffer, you have Misha that is a buffer, you have Lysander that is a buffer, best in slot right here within the Nightmare Corridor. And again, if you don't have every hero built out in the entirety, you're still going to find utility for the hero in a bunch of different places. If you do not have all of the other Awakened heroes built out, it makes a really big difference. And it makes a big difference on, again, who you have built and how you have them built out. Then more red chests. We got some more of our Stargazer scrolls. And every now and then I do hop back in here. We just grab a new formation. El Gordo. We'll go ahead and hop this in from a guildie, auto battle it, and then just keep doing this. Now, I've been trying to do this on a regular basis when I go through and I do my video editing and I do kind of other things, kind of the side odd jobs. I try to let these run a little bit. That's the reason why I actually finished out both of those as well. If you don't have every hero, just use Tricia. Don't pull Athalia. Oh, if you don't have Athalia, just use Tricia. There you go. It's not that just the main 4 faction towers. I'm at floor 661, King's Tower 831, Celestial Tower. Yeah, there's a lot. There's a way more than that, Raphael. When it comes to building out, or when it comes to making tower progression, yeah, you still have a long way to go. You'll start getting into 2 levels or 2 teams. Then you'll start getting into 3 teams. It'll really go. So what is the best Awaken besides Envidiel? This is kind of a choose your own adventure, as we'd say, because a lot of players would come in and say the Awakened version of Chimera. So after you build Envy, move on, build the Awakened version of Chimera. There are a lot of players that will say the Awakened version of Estrilda would be and should be the one that would follow building out the Awakened version of Envy. Both of them do have a lot more utility, and they do both have a lot of utility. Estrilda is kind of an interesting mix because this hero can provide best in slot damage. In some of the iterations, she is being run as the best in slot damage dealer. She is also run as a kind of a shielder, a buffer, a healer within other formations. So she is one, even though she is a tank, even though she is defensive, she plays a multitude of roles, which is the same with the Awakened version of Chimera. Now, one thing to note with Chimera is we did pull one single copy of Chimera early game. And again, in my opinion, guys, it really did make a big difference on the free-to-play account because when a hero takes fatal damage, they can still stay alive, which is kind of crazy. So yeah, so Finn says Envy, Chimera, Estrilda, Falx, and Thorin. Yeah, Falx, again, I really haven't placed Falx as it sits today, but we're starting to see a lot more utility of Falx. But yes, Envy, Chimera, Estrilda, absolutely, Finn. I agree with you on that. Chimera is really one that if you don't have her in formations, it makes a big, big difference. Now, also thinking bigger picture with Chimera is she is still being run in every single game mode outside of those 3 primary game modes, the Cursed Realm, the Treasure Scramble, Nightmare Corridor. She is still being run in campaign formation. She is still being run in Temporal Rift, in so many other game modes. She is still being run in a lot of different places, and her utility is not really going anywhere that I see as of right now. She's one with a lot of utility, and I really do like the build on her. Now, of course, HP collection, for whatever reason, it does mess up all of my collections. Every time I go through different game modes, it's kind of silly with looking at the defensive collection and everything else. I don't know if it's going to, sometimes it almost seems like it gets stuck, but she does want an HP collection. Here we have a lot of HP built on this collection. So putting her HP up by another almost 40% makes a big difference. Now, her Leviathan, a couple other ones do want HP collections. Now, it's also dependent on what game modes. What's happening, Peter? No. But we got a no from Finn. I'm working on getting to level 700 with the Resonating Crystal, but my level cap is 885. You need the line. You need the line on Chimera? What do we need on Chimera? The spell bondage or the timeline? Yeah, this is a little bit of HP in there. Do we need the line on Chimera? Oh, let's not change these because we haven't built into what we're going through in the Wilder. Timeline 1, do 90% HP damage of Chimera, 1 shot. There you go. So putting the timeline on there, +1. So make sure on your collection for Chimera, you got the timeline +1, and then building it with the HP. So that would be, so if we did the timeline, then I don't even know. So skill level, yeah, there's our HP. We got some HP. This is probably the one that we built with her. And again, I haven't really min-maxed any of these, but the one, every 0.5 seconds, the time is stopped. Anira inflicts damage equal to 15% of the holder's max health. So if we buff off her max health higher, and higher, that will essentially give us a lot more damage. Now, of course, with some of these collections, even here, guys, I need to build this up a little bit further. But getting some of these and recasting, yeah, we have HP. Yeah. Shocked folks. So, shocked folks. So, yeah, you're shocked that Falx is being used in usage. Yeah, it seems like, and we've seen a lot of players actually using Falx within the Slumbering Seal formation. We've seen that. 5 hours ago, I got my Awakened Iran 2 Ascended in around 350 time albums, 4 to 5 pulls or doubles. That is really good. I don't think we have ever done that well with the pulls on there. Peter, 350 cards for Ascended. Yeah, that is very, very epic to see. Like I said, I don't think we've gotten that well. I know when it came to doing pulls, the best one we actually had was when we pulled Brutus. Brutus didn't even take 400 in there. Seeing as exclusive copy for campaigns in Cursed Realm mainly. Yeah, definitely 2 of the places. Now, Finn, what do you think about Skyland? So when you look at Skyland, I did not build Skyland. I do not have Skyland built. These are free pulls that I pulled. But without Skyland, and this is the reason why, we actually built the Awakened version of Iran was because we don't have Skyland. So we've been kind of going back and forth with either using this Awakened version of Iran or using Scion, again, depending on the formations. But these were the two heroes I know that they had recommended before as the substitute for not having Skyland in a couple different places. And those of what I've been using as kind of subs. And they seem to work incredibly well within different game modes. But not having a lot of the Highborn Draconic heroes, it was really tough. People say that Skyland pushed them to the top 20 in Treasure Scramble. Yeah, Skyland's broke, guys. And honestly, even thinking how long this hero has been out, Skyland's damage, the survivability is really, really good with this hero. I don't know if I should go in here and build him as of today. Literally, the only thing that I would build him for would be the Treasure Scramble. But again, even having 200 emblems, I could get him to Mythic, maybe Mythic Plus if we really got lucky, probably not. But that's as far as I would build him, and then it would be a crazy amount of time. Yeah, Skyland is a beast. Absolutely gory. I love his design, and my team of Skyland and Awakened Chimera rarely lose. Yeah, I know that's my thought as well, Finn. That's the reason why when I look at the Dragon Isles, and I feel like I have to pick up a lot more of the insignias, but I haven't been picking up, or I haven't been using any of these ever since we finished Leviathan. So hopefully with the new one, we'll get another 100. We'll be at about 300. Remember, with the Highborn Draconic heroes, it is roughly 600 to 700 Draconic insignias to build them, which is kind of crazy. So I'm going to have to see about getting a personal one. Personally, I regret didn't pull Skyland. Yeah, I should have. I really should have. Again, kind of looking back. Next hero is a Highborn. I would figure him maybe even a support, which is bound to be busted. Yeah, Shooty. I really feel like, what's happening, Shooty? I didn't even see a sneak in here. No argument to build Falks. He is insane in PvE. Yeah. Also, we're starting to see him again, a couple PvP places. We're seeing him as well. And again, thinking of Treasure Scramble, thinking of, the couple different iterations that we have of the Treasure Scramble, it does make a big difference. Again, having these heroes built and having them built in a manner that is going to really, really have them strive. It does make a big difference. I know he's busted, but I'm just one short of 1 star. Yeah, keep focusing on him. I mean, every single time you get insignias, pop them right in there until you get him. If you already have him ascended, 100%, guys, absolutely build him up. If you already have him built up to that level, I definitely would. Yeah, one-shot enemy, TP away, even the cheat death. Here's some more poke coins, which I know I'm going to try and use Fins of Ice and save all my red cards for my poke coins, which again, I'm really hoping that, fingers crossed, guys, that the new Greyborn hero isn't used anywhere. I would love to see it, just not having it. Synced in a bit later today from Jim. Well, thank you for joining us. It's always awesome to see you. Yeah, the Oaken, like what we're saying, let's try to save the red cards. I will save the red cards because if there is a Highborn Draconic hero coming, maybe we'll have an opportunity to build them. Poke coins, we'll get the red cards going again. Recycle what we're not using. And again, we've used poke coins and recycle so many poke coins in there. What's happening, Carol? And Yoshi is here as well. What is happening, Yoshi? Yeah, we'll continue in here. And again, we have a lot of heroes that are built up much higher than that 9 of 9, but those are primarily our big damage dealing heroes. Definitely want to build them out. I have about 70 Draconic cards. I don't know which one to build. Kalon, Skyland, Leviathan, or Halea. Out of those, Peter, and he took the mess out. But out of those, it would be Leviathan. And honestly, when you look at Leviathan, in my opinion, guys, I feel like as it sits today, I would build Leviathan over Lan. Now, Leviathan is that SSS tier. Also 700. Yeah, Leviathan is the top tier. Lan, we know, is incredibly, but sitting on 700 right now, Peter, I would wait. Knowing that it has been an extended amount of time since we did get Kalon, since we did get our Highborn Draconic heroes, 100%, I would pause and see exactly who is coming. Because if it is a support hero, if it's an Awakened support hero like what we've seen with Lan, we could see a very, very broken best in slot hero that is coming. Yeah, I would wait. Levi only enhances Lucius. Well, should not talk about Curse Realm. How is Skarath and Falks doing? They're doing well. Honestly, both of them are doing well. And like what Finn said, when you start looking at building them out, Skarath is doing well. He's being used in a lot of different places. Some he's best in slot as a damage dealer, some he is not. And Falks is another one that is showing a lot of promise in a couple different game modes. I think even when we did the list just a minute ago, Falks came in after Astrilda and building this out, which I want to take a little grab of that. I can throw out a video a little bit later about building them out. Yeah, there we go. Envy, Shamira, Astrilda, Falks, Thorin, Zora, Chicken, and Lucius. There you go. So that's a pretty clean list, even thinking of where they kind of rank. Now, of course, the big thing in there is utility. That is the big one to really remember, is where you might see one of these heroes used in a different game mode, but you have to think of bigger picture, where when we start looking at kind of AFK Arena in its entirety, and this is where I feel like a lot of people get kind of pigeonholed, is when you start looking at, you know, the Cursed Realm, is we run so many iterations of the Cursed Realm, so many bosses where the team rotations are going to change the Nightmare Corridor. The team rotations are going to change, and they are going to continue to change. Where again, heroes like Envy are used in every single rotation, which is the reason why when you start looking at building some of these heroes out, even right here, guys, there is Skarath. Now, Skarath, of course, best in damage for this iteration of the Nightmare Corridor. Doesn't mean the next one he is going to be the best iteration or he's going to be the best in slot. It is running through this one. Even Astrilda, there's Thorin in there, there's Astrilda. It's very important to see there's Kalon even in there. There's the awakened version of Athelia. But again, it does make a really big difference on how, and if you've seen, guys, it's kind of crazy, because if you guys remember the Liberta cheese that we always seen with using, that is right, our favorite or right there, he is now doing the exact same thing with Marseille as the cheese. So going in here, having the link actually hit, and you'll notice right here that this tanking tree is reset to 0, but the linking, and then of course the best in slot is Marseille over Liberta, and it is absolutely just crushing damage in here. Again, it doesn't seem like there's going to be a point where we're getting rid of Orthos. Again, he's a hero that, you know, building out and having him built, it doesn't seem like Orthos is, yeah, that's the new LOL. Yes, I know. I was thinking that maybe there's going to be a point where we do phase out Orthos in the entirety, and then I see a new formation where Orthos again comes in the team and he's best in slot, because of course within here, if you don't have Orthos, it is an entirely new formation in itself. Because essentially this Orthos cheese, just like a Thorin cheese, Orthos used to run with Athelia. Yes, Orthos used to run with Athelia. Orthos used to run with, and if you remember anywhere, Orthos used to be run, again, old school player here. Orthos was always run with Talene. And again, Finn, I'm sure you've been playing forever. Orthos and Talene was absolutely just epic, because Orthos would time stop. Talene would heal the team, do damage, heal the team, do damage, heal the team, do damage. It was just broken when Orthos and Talene were together. You couldn't kill either one of those because Talene would always heal everybody. It was really broken in the formation with Talene being used in a couple different places. And again, that was the old, I mean, God, that was 4 years ago, 5 years ago. Now, yeah, it was kind of broken. Yeah, Orthos is one. Guys, do not overlook Orthos. He is one that, unfortunately, you have to screw with his gear. You have to mess with his collections. You have to change a couple things with Orthos to get it to work the way that it needs to actually get Liberta's link. Because if he doesn't get the link based on HP, you actually won't be able to get it to work in the entirety. So yeah, he's going to be used in there. We get more time stops like Misha. Orthos might be gone. Maybe eventually. It's been so long though. Yeah, too much work. 100% Finn. I do not, and I really, really do not like any heroes that we have to come in here. I have to reset the Elder Tree right here for Dur's Fortitude. And going through and tweaking some of his gear, moving some of the gear. I do not like the heroes that can just be used in their functionality, but going through, if you really want to be one of the top best in slot players. There are a lot of adjustments and just little kind of tweaks like that that you need to do. And the big thing that I feel like so many players overlook are collections. We talk about collections, we talk about the importance of collections. Having collections on a multitude of heroes is really probably the biggest thing. I'm short of probably beasts or having the heroes built. Collections on a multitude of heroes will be the absolute game changer. Like I said before, as many people absolutely hate the Ghoulish gallery with a passion, this is a point where you need to build it out, and you need to build this out in the entirety. I'm going to build out a stopwatch here, and I want to do this for Chimera, so we'll throw the level in there. And I also want to unlock a couple other ones, so I'll have to see exactly what I want to build out, but I want to build her out with HP, getting that level 1 collection here for the stopwatch, just like what Finn was talking about in there. It'll be interesting. I have to see whether they'll double release Awaken Orthos and Zorath. That would be insane. That would be just absolutely insane if they did 2 Awaken heroes at the same time. Yeah, that would be crazy. That would be absolute just crazy if we seen. Now, also remember, guys, that we have one more Awaken hero in 2025, which is going to be a Wilder, which we know, and again, take it with a grain of salt, where Falks was a light bearer, Falks moved to a Greyborn. That means that for the Awakened Wilder, we could see any hero in the timeline anywhere that we currently have, or they could just go gun-ho like we see with a lot of these, where they just build literally a brand new hero. I don't know if they would do it for the regular 4 factions, but where they just literally make a hero like Envy out of dust, where there is no non-Awakened version of the hero. But remember, time emblems, and you're also going to have another Awakened hero into 2025. Don't know if there's going to be collaborations or crossover. That is going to be it. Wilder Awakened might be a physical damage dealer. Too much mage this year. It's weird that they keep doing everyone having an aspect of support. And it doesn't seem like, Finn, that we see a lot of heroes that are just the pure damage dealers anymore. Even looking at a lot of the current heroes we see, a lot of the most recent ones have a big part that is kind of that support element, instead of just being a pure, straight up ass whooping damage dealing hero that we've seen with some of these in the past. They've been a lot more of the support. And I think of like when we looked at like Lucy, and Lucy just absolutely crushed every single team and got stronger when her allies died. I just want to see a hero that is going to be, a primary role assassin. Yes, that is absolutely just crushing damage. I hope Lucretia and Zafriel awaken on the same day. Yeah, that would be insane if they did an awaken one. Yeah, I want Lucretia and Zap. I would love it, guys. And even thinking of how many heroes or how many players play AFK Arena and what kind of that nostalgia factor would look like. And I really think, looking back, Lucretia and Zafriel were about a peak in AFK Arena. I mean, when we got both of these heroes, there were so many people that were playing that were super, super hyped when Lucy came out and how broken this hero was. It was just epic. It was absolutely epic. When Lucretia and Zafriel came out, it was insane, the amount of, buzz and everything else that was coming around AFK Arena. It was awesome to see. And all the new, there we go, 1440. Boom! 6,000 Poke coins. Let's go, guys. We will keep using them. Envy is kind of awakened. Yeah, I know, Shooty. It's very similar in the build and kind of how the hero works, which again, they could have done the awakened version of Lucretia and just not even bothered with building Envy. It would have worked. So there is Celine, another one. We only have 3 of 9 furniture for Celine. We'll go ahead, we'll build those up a little bit more. We'll get some more Poke coins. And again, I'm going to save my red cards because that's what Finn tells me to do. But in here, yeah, we'll get one more copy for Celine, trying to get to that 9 of 9 furniture and not burning through all those red kinds. Sola's kind of a Chimera kit. Oh, Sola's kind of having Chimera's kit. Yeah, it's interesting. Like I said, with some of the overlap that we're seeing with some of the heroes, and again, that support nature, where a lot of the mages, and I think, some of them like Rimuru, like when we got Rimuru and we were hoping that it'd really be a damage dealer, and then he came out to be a very, very heavy kind of support hero. It's interesting to see how they kind of build them. She's SSS on release. Is Awakened Soulless just trash? Short of the tower, you're not going to find a lot of utility for her. Even looking in here, where do we have her right here? Her utility, I mean, when she came out, she was the most busted, and I believe the first support Awakened hero that we've seen. Broken for years. I mean, probably 2 years. I think 2 years. Soulless was best in slot in a ton of different places. And then, of course, she did go hand in hand with her sidekick, which was Nevi. Nevi buffed up the sprites that the Awakened version of Soulless had. It did work incredibly well. Yeah, Soulless is the old Belinda. And again, a little bit of nostalgia here, guys. If you remember way back when, this was our best in slot boss killer for a incredible amount of time. Saurus was a monster when it came to bosses. When he was released, again, we talk about the pure damage dealers and the things they can do. I know he had kind of that support aspect as well, but he was a damage dealer that just put and really threw damage through the roof. Same can be said when you start looking at Scarlet. When Scarlet came out, Scarlet's damage was insane. Same with the Awakened version of Belinda. The damage was just super, super broken. High probability of Saurus. That would be awesome. Guys, if they, and my thought was, and hear me out on this one, if we did an Awakened version of Saurus, similar to what we've seen with Iran, and Saurus had a Draconic evolution, not moving to the Draconic faction, but being an Awakened Wilder that does Draconic damage because he is kind of like that Dragon-esque build. I would love to see it if it was Saurus as an Awakened hero with Draconic damage. That would be awesome. That would be just absolutely epic to see if they did the Awakened version of Saurus. And again, doing like that dragon damage, that dragon speak damage that we see with part of the dragon. And again, kind of similar between those. Last Nightmare Corridor Awakened was Envy a year ago. Oh, yeah, we don't have any Nightmare Corridor bosses hero yet. We're going to have to get some. We're definitely going to have to get some. But guys, we have a lot more that is coming down the pipeline. Now we know tomorrow is Monday. Tomorrow is going to be the patch notes. Tuesday is going to be the patch day, which is going to bring us the new Greyborn hero. Really pause on building her. We are not seeing her. And if you caught the video that I put out last night about kind of the testing, her damage isn't coming in very high for a Greyborn hero and for a damage dealing hero. We are not seeing her used in any formations. We went through the Cursed Realm, we went through the Nightmare Corridor, and the Treasure Scramble. We are not seeing her used in any, or him, excuse me, it is a him. And I believe they said earlier on the stream, it is Edwin's eldest son, which is the new Greyborn that we're getting. So again, kind of storylines coming together. But we did not see the hero used in any formations as of yesterday. Nowhere in the Cursed Realm, Nightmare Corridor, Treasure Scramble. Greyborn Tower, that's kind of a given because it's a brand new Greyborn. But overall, if I don't have to engrave a hero, if I don't have to use my red chest on a hero, absolutely, I am all about it, not having to worry about it. And it's interesting to see. We got Thorin, we got Mira, then we got Falks on how many regular Awakened hero, or excuse me, regular faction heroes, 1, 2, and then we got Iran, that they are not releasing anymore. Because even here, I mean, we had a couple between both these, 1, 2, 3, then we had an Awaken, 1, 2, then an Awaken. You can see how they're almost building them faster, because even looking here, SP 1, 2, and then what do we have back here? Where was, that was the first, oh yeah, Brutus was the first SP here. So 2 heroes, and then the Awaken, 1, 2, 3 heroes, then the Awaken, 2 heroes, then the Awaken. You can see how they're kind of going. Now, of course, they did weave in the dimensional heroes and the draconic heroes in there as well. So it's very cool to see what is going to be coming with AFK Arena. I want to go through, I want to finish out chapter 75. I know I got to do a lot more farming in here because it does take a lot of time. Towers have been the focus, like I said earlier. I'm going through and farming out all of the resources. There's another 10 floors in this tower, giving us, boom, more Stargazer Scrolls, even getting more essence to go ahead and build out and really focus on gaining a lot more levels in here. We've been making a lot of progression, and the progression has been coming pretty quick. Even here, we've gotten, what, another 12,000 essence out of the game modes. We're at 1,117 already, which is kind of incredible to see building them out. But we're getting ready for the next Draconic heroes. And I know Finn was talking earlier about the Golden Frontier. What do you use to play on the PC? I use BlueStacks, Luca. So I've used BlueStacks for 5 years that we've been doing this. I don't really have any issues with BlueStacks. It's always ran pretty well to go ahead and build. What's the recommended bizarre totems for Begress's collection? He needs insight. I would have to check exactly which one, but I know Begress does work on insight for the collection. I would have to hop over and see exactly what it looks like. So all those were locked. I'm not sure if I didn't hop in. Might have not hopped in the rally yesterday. It was incredibly busy. I actually wasn't home really at all yesterday. Going in here, I think we are holding at a different place. So let's go ahead. We'll rally in here. 1, 2, and 3. Rally this all together. Now, of course, going through and just getting all of these resource nodes, getting everything out of here. Vault of Riches. You should be pretty much bought up at this point. We've been just building these out kind of one by one. There's even the 15 here and the 15 here. So we only have the very last 2 pieces to buy, and that's it. We'll be done. That'll be done in the entirety. I know right now we're kind of going and fighting for that very last piece. And we got the rally. We'll do the rally in just a minute, but definitely getting there. Begress needs tenacity, not insight. Yeah, tenacity, not insight. Yes, it is tenacity. Let me hop on. And of course, Begress, we didn't get any more copies of. Don't know what that's going to look like, but yeah, he wants the tenacity. Even here, tenacity. When his tenacity exceeds 75 points, he becomes immune to the knock in the air, which what is his tenacity down here? 35. So we need a ton of tenacity in here to actually build him out. And I believe we are running Isold's collection in here. For some reason, I thought it was Isold's collection that we were running. And then for the treasure scramble, it was running Zolraz's collection. But I believe it is Isold's collection that he needs tenacity. So we got to build a big tenacity in there. Awakened Source would be kick-ass. He's my favorite Ascended hero when I was a newbie. Yeah, spams, 100%. It would be absolutely epic to see. Yeah, I'm going to have to build him a tenacity set. And like I said, I believe skill level 0 or 1 is good for this one, but he needs the ton of tenacity, not the insight. So it's the one that most players never focus on, nor they never see. Yeah, build out tenacity. Thank you, Ghazi, for the heads up on that one to build out tenacity. I'm going to build him out. I know I do have a couple more chests. I want to build him out again a little bit further based on his gear, getting the weapons out of here, getting him built up a little bit further, allowing to stack a little bit more tenacity, finishing out his furniture. And then one day, someday, maybe this week or next week, we'll be able to actually build him out with 1 star and get lucky on the summons. I was going to stop for the pulls on him, but I know we need the engraving. Getting the 30 and the 60 engraving will do really well in here. When the tenacity exceeds 90 points, he grants 50% of the access to allies. And then over here, this is another one where reducing the enemy unit's dragon speak by 40 points, allowing to amplify the dragon speak damage that we're doing out of there. Absolutely want to build him. I mean, he's a hero that is probably going to go into that SSS tier just for the fact he is used in every game mode. And we're seeing a ton of utility out of the hero. But again, he's a hero that does require a pretty decent amount to be invested in to have the utility. And you also notice, guys, we just breached 11 trillion in the overall combat rating. So we are continuing to push through a lot of progression, building up the heroes like we do every single day. All right, guys, so that is going to do it for today's stream. Want to say, guys, thank you for all the love and support for the channel. It's absolutely amazing that we have so many people that are joining us for the stream, answering questions, new subscribers, new memberships, everything that is going on. We are at 41,200 plus subscribers already on the channel, which is kind of crazy. Even on the finance channel, we're going to 9,000 subscribers on the finance channel, which is kind of incredible to see. But I love coming over here. I love doing the streams for AFK Arena. Absolutely love sharing everything with you. So if you got questions, guys, drop them down below. But guys, again, that is going to do it for Sunday stream. I have football this afternoon, and go Lions. Today they are playing. I am hoping that they're going to do well today. I believe they play at 8 or 8:30 tonight. It's going to be kind of a later game tonight. But absolutely, guys, I love the Detroit Lions. Most of you know I live just north of Detroit. So definitely wanted to share it. But again, guys, that's going to do it. So thank you guys for joining me for the stream. And as always, thank you guys for watching.